No, I just got to know. What is one privilege that men have that women don't? Because I can only think of one privilege that men have that women don't.
Go ahead.
I'm asking you.
What's a privilege that men have that women don't?
Yeah, because you're trying to say there's male privilege. I would argue that women have all the privileges and men have very, very few, if any.
Men have very few privileges.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
Men one privilege that
so when you look, men's sports teams are better funded than girls' sports teams in schools. If that's a fact.
In high school or college?
In both, in high school and college and NBA. The fucking NBA, WNBA player can make only $20,000
than women's sports. I'm about to debunk you right now. This is why you're incorrect. Number one, there's a law in place that in college sports, okay, female sports have to get the same amount of funding as male sports. That's number one. That's why college female rowing teams are huge and have a lot of money, because football teams and basketball teams. That's number one.
So then,
I'm just using an example of an expensive sport.
Can you give me the WNBA and NBA?
Let me continue to debunk. The WNBA is the only business that's negative every single year. It's subsidized by the NBA. Okay, so it's a privilege that the WNBA still exists, even though it is a negative business. It makes no money. And it loses money, and the NBA subsidizes. So please explain to me how the WNBA players still get a salary of 6 figures a year while they're negative and don't generate money.
And because we live in a society that loves men, that dick rides men, that wants to see men in all forms of positions. So when men are playing sports, we're going to watch that more often than we're going to watch women's sports.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. How many WNBA games did you go to this year?
I've never been to an NBA or WNBA game. I've never been to a basketball game this year. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so go ahead and support WNBA.
Yeah, support them.
Yeah, when I get the bread too. The fuck?
Okay, so look, here's the thing. If you're going to make an argument, you got to make it in good faith. Like I said before, Title IX, all right, that allows women's sports to get funded as much as men's sports. So you're incorrect there, number one, okay? And I know that for a fact because I was a Division I athlete and I know that, okay? Number two, WNBA doesn't deserve to get paid. And as a matter of fact, it shouldn't even exist. It's a negative business, but it's still there. Why? Because we value women's feelings over the real. If it was a men's sport and it was negative, they wouldn't fund it at all.
True. Okay, so they have, men's football, NFL, is one of the most men's dominated sports, right? So then why do they have female lingerie football?
Wait, what? Oh, like powder puff football?
I don't understand. If anything, hold on. Again, that is another sport that doesn't generate money like that.
Lingerie flag
and it's
football.
Negative, but it gives women an opportunity to play a sport that, quite frankly, they don't deserve to play. It's negative. They don't generate money.
And like the lingerie football thing, like the women are still being sexualized. So how much of a win is that really for women? Yeah, and they chose to do it. So these women are like consciously and willingly sexually objecting themselves to wear no clothing and then put pads on and then running to each other and like what? It's a weird combination.
If anything, I would argue there's more privileges and opportunities to women, even though they're mediocre.
You know what? Like another male privilege is being able to walk down the street and not have to worry about somebody's going to rape you.
That is not true.
Okay, you're incorrect again.
So y'all be walking down the street not worried about someone going to rape you.
Let me hit you with facts. Why you're incorrect about this? As a man, you are actually have a 60% plus more chance of being a victim of violent crime. So tell me you're actually safer as a man. The reality is you're not. You're far more likely to be a victim of violent crime as a man than a woman.
I'm being very specific of it being rape, and the violent crime that man is going to face is by another man. The crimes that women face is most of the time by men.
Most rape victims are men.
By men.
Most rape victims are men.
Most rape
victims. It's just not talked about because Okay. And who are they being raped by? Who are they being raped by? Inmates. Inmates.
Yeah, and that shit don't get reported due to prison. No one knows the fuck what goes on in there.
I've done statistics on it when I was protesting.
Is it not a privilege to not be held accountable for raping other people?
What?
Is it not? These men are raping folks and they're not being held accountable for
They're in prison and they're doing it to other men.
Can we say grape?
Stupid.
Grape.
So look, man, you've been debunked on a bunch of the points that you've been trying to make because a lot of the things you've said are erroneous and not true.
It's not. They're okay. I think another thing about this show is that y'all have your own information, everything ready, your own topics ready to discuss. And so when other people come on here, we get frazzled because you putting people on the hot seat and just going crazy.
This topic.
And this is what the show is about.
Y'all
You
didn't-
literally
because-
brought up this topic, and I'm
literally
debunking
said-
your stuff
you
off the
said,
top.
You said y'all didn't. You said we had female privilege. I'm saying we don't have. I'm saying y'all men have
Name one
privilege
privilege that men have that women don't, and you can't name one.
I did. I named several.
And I
said,
debunked them. They're all incorrect.
Y'all get to walk around topless.
I already
Yo.
told
Is
you
that
that's
really a
not
privilege?
privilege.
Is
Like
that really a
walking down the
privilege?
street for a man with a no shirt on, like how much of a privilege is that?
Right now, if I could take this off, I would gladly do that, but I can't because I know that's not.
Is that
No,
really
you
a
can't, dude.
privilege?
You're in Miami. You can walk down the streets fucking half naked in the
But
city,
realistically
yo.
speaking,
I don't like clothes,
What
period.
benefit does that? Hold on.
You know that shit.
You're more likely to make money and get opportunities given to you by walking down the street in a bra than I am with my top off.
This is
You're
true.
more likely to get opportunities in a normal job environment
Right.
and get pushed higher. Look, who's
Really?
in the Senate is majority men,
This
and they're
is
making
easy mode.
decisions about our body, bro. Like, bitches can't have abortions. Like you saying that
Actually,
you don't
yes,
have
you
privilege.
can. Yeah, women can
In
have
some
abortions.
You can't
we're
in
illegal.
Texas.
Okay, well,
It's
let's
Okay.
check
just
this
out
thing and
there.
drive to a
50%
different
of the United
state.
States. Hold on, let me tell you a privilege that you have that I don't. You can abort a baby. I can't decide anything about a baby. Women have 100%
our
unilateral
body.
control. That's cool. That's cool, but that's a privilege women have that men don't.
And that's
I'm
also
not
his
crying.
baby,
Okay.
though.
Okay. So, and then what was the other thing you said? Men control the business. No, you have more opportunity as a woman for the same job as me.
So who runs
Affirmative action.
most of the Fortune 500 companies?
Men.
What percentage?
Men.
Men,
It's
because men
almost
are better
all
leaders than
men.
women.
Rightfully so, as they should run it because they built that business up.
Or
Yep.
maybe because men have engaged in a long practice of colonialism and exploitation that has instilled certain European gender roles in our society, and that's why
Wow.
y'all think you're leaders.
Okay.
Because if you look at African societies,
Okay.
they're more matriarchal. If you look at indigenous societies, much more matriarchal. But
Okay.
you must think that y'all,
Well, here's the thing. How
y'all
many of those
leaders.
societies still exist today?
because y'all niggas kill people.
Okay.
Man,
It doesn't
there's
work.
a great
Come back
story
to
about how
It doesn't
war,
work. It doesn't work.
war, like without men, there wouldn't
And
be
here's the
war.
other thing too.
Like-
Let me ask you a question. Is it really European colonialism when you look at the Asian dynasties, you look at the Arab dynasties, you look at Native American dynasties, they were all patriarchies, yet they never spoke to each other and there was no way of communicating back then in the old ages? Explain that to me.
That's not.
Gotcha,
That's
bitch,
not.
got you. Like, yo,
What?
you can't win this. You cannot win
One, you
this.
don't know what colonialism is
You
because colonialism is literally a system that is
Yes.
based off
Created by
extraction.
Europeans. Created by Europeans. And I'm trying to explain to you, they adopted a patriarchy, yet all these other societies did as well. And none of them spoke to each other without the advent of modern telephones, technology, etc. But they all practiced patriarchies and they all existed. Explain that to me. It's not a social construct.
An oppressive,
It's-
racialized patriarchy.
no.
The Europeans created a
It's
specific.
biology.
No,
It's biology.
It's not. But whatever.
It's been that way.
It's-
How is it that
you
all
gotta
these
change.
societies?
Read Mama's Baby. Read Mama's Baby, Papa's Maybe
I see
by
what you got
Hortense
played.
Spillers. By Hortense Spillers, where she gets into how slavery and colonialism has impacting gender roles in America today, and that's why black men and black women are the way that they are.
Here's the
But
thing. Gender roles.
y'all not gonna
look,
read.
Look. No, I do read. And that's
Everything
why
you
you're
read is not
literally
real,
getting smoked
girl.
right now. Gender roles are a byproduct of biology, not social construct like you're trying to argue. Men are stop. Men are physically superior to women in every single way. They're deductive problem solvers. They're more logically sound. That's why men build everything that you see around the world. It's not because women were oppressed, as you say. Women choose to not go into these jobs. Even nowadays, with feminism being as strong as it is, women choose to go into jobs that are more socially centered. They don't go into construction. They don't go into engineering. They don't go into math. They don't go into
Because they're
technology.
socialized.
Because women choose these jobs.
Judith Butler talks about this, about how people are socialized into their specific gender roles. I have nothing else to say because it's very clear that we are in different points.
No, you're
but I really
incorrect.
appreciate it.
You're
But
incorrect.
please
You're
read
trying to
Judith
argue.
Butler.
You're
Please
trying
read
to argue. No.
Judith Butler.
You're trying to argue that
Please
gender
read
roles
Judith Butler.
are a social construct.
Yes, they are. Like
They're
race
not.
is a social
They're a
construct.
biological construct.
Race is a social construct. You did not just say that.
Race is a social
Can I say
construct.
something real quick?
Race is a social
man.
construct.
Listen.
Could I say
So
something
the
real
fact that
quick?
I'm half black and half white is a social construct.
That your
My-
ethnicity is different from your race. So I don't know what your white part is from or your black part is from, but that's your ethnicity. That's different. Your race is your skin color. That's socially constructed. It was white folks and black folks telling us you black, you not. It's ontological.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I
it's
had to
literally
mark
a-
other on papers in
y'all-
school. so-
Thank you. But I
I
have
feel
nothing
that.
else to say. If
All right,
y'all ain't reading,
because
then you're not reading.
look. It's not about reading because I read. What I'm trying to explain to you is how is it a social construct when societies that don't even know each other since the beginning of time, Asians, Native Americans, Europeans, Arabs, etc., they never spoke to each other, but they all had patriarchies. Explain to me
They
how that's stop interrupting. How's that a social construct when different societies that never spoke to each other did it? It's because it's biologically based.
Okay, so patriarchy is a system. It's a way of being
That
where
works.
there men are a
It's a
society where
system that
men
works.
are at top. that is not necessarily a system that works, because what the system that we have of patriarchy here is one that is mixed with colonialism, slavery, sexism. It's literally a system of oppressions that are working
Sexism only
together.
benefits women.
What?
Sexism only benefits women.
I'm good. I'm good.
What?
I mean,
Yo, sexism only benefits women. There wouldn't be a WNBA without sexism. There wouldn't be equal opportunities, all this other stuff. There wouldn't be feminism without sexism. What are you talking about? Sexism inherently benefits women.
She came in an argument.
Bro,
yeah, that's an L.
She a trigger, bro.
That's an L.
What the fuck?
This is an L all the way. Sexism inherently benefits women.
No, you're good, right?
No,
you're on this podcast right now because of sexism.
Sexism is
we
a
normally
system
charge
of
people
oppression.
20 to 30,000 to be on this podcast. You're on here for free because of sexism.
You're on here for free because you let me, bro.
Could I say
But that's what I'm
something
trying to
real
say. Sexism
That's not
benefits
sexism.
women.
It's not sexism.
You're here because you're a woman.
You
Yes.
simp.
That's
That's why you let
sexism.
us on.
And to be honest, I barely didn't want to let you on, but after your sister, I'm like, hey, and she
I'll
said
tell you
Miami,
this,
more or
though.
less. And she's
Hey,
like,
look.
yo, she's flying out in 2 weeks. Like, yo, I got you.
I'm not here to disrespect or belittle you. I'm just telling
I am.
you that if you're going to have an argument
I'm
here
petty.
based on debate and logically sound arguments, you have to argue in logic and fact, not necessarily your feelings.
But I am, and what you're doing is you're just not listening. So I'm not going
I'm
to
listening
continue to
very
get,
closely.
because you're saying sexism inherently benefits women.
Yes.
And that is just factually incorrect. If all y'all women are going to sit up here and agree with that and believe with that, like I really I'm going to pray for y'all tonight. Like,
Could
may
I
God
say something real
may
quick?
God-
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Somebody has something. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, because I know that you mentioned that there's like certain jobs that men get and women don't. But I've been interviewed for plenty of jobs that they ask you directly, like, are you a female? Because people are more comfortable speaking to a female at the front than with a man. That's why, like, I see where you're trying to get with this, mommy, but like at the same time, you also have to understand that this fear that women have towards men, it's not gonna go anywhere. So there are certain jobs that only us women can do, because only us women give that motherly, that nurturing nature.
That's
because that is who we are.
But there's
That
no
is
jobs that they would never not
socialized.
give to women. Is the other point I'm trying to make. Like if a job was like, yo, we don't hire women, they would be sued instantly.
Yep.
We exercise sexism towards men, but we don't exercise sexism towards women. Let me give you an example. There's 2 standards in the military. There's 2 standards in police departments. There's 2 standards in fire departments. If we didn't have sexism, there would be 1 standard and women wouldn't get the jobs. But we allow women these opportunities through what? Sexism. Sexism benefits women. It's inherently to women's benefit because it allows women the opportunity to compete where they otherwise would never have the chance.
That's just not like
That is the definition of sexism.
Women are socially constructed to take those positions. Like when we're kids, we are literally
You can't win.
we're
You can't
literally
win.
raised differently than men. Are you guys not raised differently than your brothers? I was raised differently than my brothers.
Girlfriend, do you really want to be on the streets like pouring asphalt in like 95-degree weather? Like, do you want to be out there building buildings in the fucking dirt? Do you want to be out there pouring concrete? Do you want to be really go then like you're
Get a construction job. Why don't you have a construction job?
Miami stay in construction.
My job
Exactly. Miami stay in construction.
The same freedom you have to go large events.
It was my birthday last week. I got
No. The same freedom.
Oh my goodness. I'm building a house in Ethiopia right now. I don't know what y'all talking about.
So the same freedom you have, right, to go march to the BLM events, go work a job like that. It's fine.
What?
The same freedom you have, right, to go to BLM events, go work a job that you don't like.
Go work a job I don't like.
Yeah, because you're saying that.
No, we're saying, okay, look, it's very simple. That energy that you take into the BLM protest, go ahead and apply for a construction job or something in science, technology, engineering, or math. Do pour some asphalt, go Alaska fishing, whatever you want to do. Work one of these very difficult manual labor jobs that women don't want to work. Now, you also said something about social constructioning makes you go into certain jobs. Explain this. You go to Norway, all these Scandinavian countries, right? The women are this is the most equal society in the world. The women are literally as equal to the men in every regard. Tell me why women still are nurses, still go into social work, and dominate the fields of any type of sociology. Yet they have all the same equalities as men. It's because of choice. Women choose to go into these jobs because women don't like to do physical manual labor. It's a fact. No one at this table does manual physical labor.
Yeah.
None of y'all. But I've done landscaping growing up. I've done construction.
I've
done all that.
I've worked on a farm too. Like,
it's choice.
Like, I think, like
in general, women do not go into manual labor jobs. That's a fact. That's not even up for debate.
And it's fine.
And that's okay. But you can't sit there and say, it's a social construct. No, it's a biological construct. Women don't like to do manual labor because women don't have the endurance, the strength, and the capacity to be able to do it long term.
That's just not like women are literally raised not to take those certain jobs. Like we are literally raised to be
What's stopping you from
teachers,
doing
to be
construction
nurses.
right now?
Nothing. No, it's still a choice to do it. I'm saying that we are socially constructed. So that we are.
What are you saying then?
I'm saying that we are told, we are raised, we are in a society that tells us this is what we're supposed to be. The cult of domesticity.
All right, go.
It's called
You know
the
what?
cult of domesticity.
Go against the grain and get a construction job.
Y'all
You can
can
do
look
it.
that shit up.
Yo, if you want to go, listen, if you want to apply for a construction job, you will get a job over a man any day because you're a woman.
Yep.
Oh, more sexism, by the way.
Don't talk about it. Be
Another
about
privilege that you got that men don't.
Just do it then.
You can apply for a police department, a fire department.
We'll never do that.
You can apply for the military. You will get promoted faster than a man because of affirmative action, and you're black.
My thing is, don't talk about it. Be an example. Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you go try it?
Yeah,
like,
do
you
it.
keep
Yeah,
talking about
Be a
it.
leader.
Like, why don't you try it?
Y'all are telling me to go do manual labor jobs when I've already done manual labor jobs.
Okay, so what have you done? Like what manual labor jobs have you done?
I worked at a farm. I worked in a kitchen. I worked.
Oh, and you chose to leave, didn't you?
Because I got paid better somewhere else doing something else.
Oh, so it's a choice.
That's really it. I said that before. I said it's a choice, but people are socially constructed. Like we're literally raised to be.
It's either choice.
Wait. But you keep talking about being raised, but I was never raised that way. You're trying to put us in a circle. Don't cut me off. You're trying to put us in a circle where you're trying to put us in the middle, like we're all the same. I was not raised that way, my love. I was raised that if I'm hungry, I get my ass up and I get whatever fucking job I could find and I make my fucking money. Because that's how my daddy fucking raised me. I get up and I make my money and I get what I want. I want something, I work towards it. But I don't sit here and complain, oh, men get these jobs, women get these jobs, everything's so unfair. I go and I do something about it. But you're trying to say, I'm not finished. But you're trying to say that us women are raised to be this way. I was not raised that way. I was raised to be a breadwinner. I was raised to be the top. If you're second, you're losing. That's what I was raised to be. So you're trying to say women are domesticated into these jobs. I know how to cook. I could fix a tire. I could fix the bottom of some shit there. My daddy taught me, we'll get to that later. But I could do all this shit that men can do. There's certain things I can't do physically. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm thick, but I'm not muscle. You know what I mean? So there's certain things. Don't do me like that.
Let her have it.
Don't do me like that. I woke up thick as fuck this morning. Don't do me, all right? I'm thick as fuck. I'm manifesting the fuck out of my ass, okay? Let it be. It's growing slowly but surely, right? But
okay, wrap up your point though. Go ahead.
There's certain things that like you're saying that us women were like raised to do this or we learned how to do this, but we don't. That's your choice. That's the choice of your parents.
It is choice.
That's the choice of you. If you really wanted to learn how to lay some fucking concrete, you would teach yourself how to lay some concrete. Because nobody ever taught me anything. Nobody ever taught me anything. I didn't have no family. I ain't got no friends.
Say her point.
I agree with you. What I'm trying to get at is that we are raised in a culture where we're getting messages, where we're being told this is how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to be as women, and that there's certain jobs that we're being told growing up that this is what women do, that this is what you can do, and it's rare that we're being told, oh, you can go into these other paths until later on when they start doing more like STEM programs for women. All I'm trying to say is that we are raised in a culture that tells us this is what women are supposed to be like, how we're supposed to exist and do, and a lot of women choose to do that. Again, it's a choice whether you choose to do that or choose to pour asphalt, up to you. But all I'm saying is we are socially constructed. We are given messages about what it means to be a woman in this world, and we live in that. Like that's literally it.
You're contradicting yourself by saying it's a choice and then also saying that we were socially constructed into doing it, into like
why is it not
certain jobs.
How is it not and both that we are raised?
Because it can't be both, because you're contradicting yourself.
How am I contradicting myself by saying we are raised with certain messages about what it means to be a woman in this world, and that we are, and that those ideas of a woman is what's given to us, and that there being a choice.
Again, if you have a choice in life and you're raised a certain way, it's still a choice.
I'm going to be honest, brutally honest here. This is typical leftist propaganda that poisons a lot of women and people in the West in general, where you don't want to take accountability. You want to blame society and the past for why you make the decisions in the current. And this is a very toxic mindset to have because you skirt accountability for your own decisions. The reality is, okay, a lot of things aren't a social construct. It's a personal construct based off your own personal decisions. Okay. If I get caught selling drugs and I sit there and tell the police, yo, you got to understand, it's a social construct. I grew up in a neighborhood where there was a bunch of drug dealing and I couldn't control it. I just had to sell drugs. They're going to put me in prison for the rest of my life. It doesn't fucking matter because I made that choice. But it's on me to go against those social constructs, become a better man, get out the poverty and make it. I can't sit there and blame society for my problems. I got to make active changes and go against the grain. That's how it is. But we live in this crazy clown world where it's black people's, it's the police's fault, it's a society's fault, everything is sexist. We live in this crazy patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. This patriarchy has given you the opportunity to get on this podcast and speak in a comfortable environment where you're not attacked for your opinions and you're able to speak freely, backed by U.S. military, run by men that you say oppress you so you can be protected from the country that you left, Ethiopia. Let's keep it 1,000. The only reason you're able to say the crazy things that you're saying right now is because men are willing to die to defend it.
And those men are also killing other people. Like y'all are killing other people in other countries to do that. Why is your life more worthy than somebody in Afghanistan?
It's called the monopoly of power, and sometimes you have to let people know that you have the monopoly of power. That's why we have nuclear weapons. This is geopolitics. This could go forever. But the point is this: we are the world superpower. To continue to be the world superpower, you got to do things that sometimes are kind of fucked up and unethical. But that's what it is. If you don't like it, you can always go back to Ethiopia. But you're here because you're able to enjoy certain freedoms and certain privileges and rights that you would never be afforded anywhere else. Why? Because it's backed by the U.S. military, run by men, run by these people that you are going ahead and saying that are oppressed. Okay, look, you don't have to be here if it's a fascist government. You can go back to Ethiopia
the
where
United
there's no
States
government.
Constantly sells what you're saying as propaganda to the rest of the world, and then the rest of the world comes to the United States.
No, what you're spewing is leftist propaganda. What you're spewing is leftist propaganda that takes accountability from people. This is why the youth are a bunch of pussies. This is why they don't work. This is why we have a bunch of men that aren't or soft because they sit there and blame other people for their problems. Listen, you're a woman. You can get away with saying that fuckery. You know, you cannot take accountability. It's cool. But men can't. You think I could run around here and say, yo, it's the man, bro. Yo, this is fucked up. I'm not where I want to be because the police are holding me down. We live in a crazy-ass patriarchy. I can't do that. I got to look at the world for what it is and become a better man. I can't sell drugs and say, yo, man, it's because I'm black and the systemic racism. I can make all the excuses in the world, too. I'm Muslim. I'm black. I speak Arabic. 9/11 happened, whatever. What I do? I rose to the occasion, became a special agent. I put the people in jail that used to do that shit to us. I'm not going to sit here and cry and complain about my situation. I have every excuse in the book. But I'm not taking the victim mindset. I'm in the same exact shoes that you are, but I choose not to go that way. If I have a problem, it's my fault, no one else.
I don't think I have a victim mindset because I actively organize with people to have agency. Like the place I work for, we literally give money to black businesses so we can be good. Like, I don't know, but...
Okay, that's racism in itself.
How is it?
Let's talk about that.
That's true.
That's black supremacy, right? See, we could go ahead and sit here. I'm going to only support black businesses. I'm not going to give money to nobody else. What if a white dude said, I'm only giving money to white businesses? It would be an uproar.
I never said only black businesses.
You just
but here's the thing. When you prioritize a business because of the ethnicity of the people that run it, that's racism in itself. White people can't do that, but black people can. Let's talk about that. You want to have tough discussions.
Chris, you're talking. Chris, what's up, bro?
That's all I'm saying, man. Like,
let her go, bro.
You can't sit here, black power, all this other stuff, and then get mad and then say, "Oh, white people are holding us down." You're practicing racism too. All right, discussion is over. It's fine. We'll end it.